Time for a soccer down here 1v1. And for this one, we go to East Tennessee and catch up with our friends at the 865 Alliance, President Jon Schneider, one of the new entries in the NPSL. Coach, congratulations and welcome to the NPSL. And thanks for hanging out for a soccer down here 1v1.
Well, thank you very much. We're pretty excited to be part of this whole thing.
So, how long was this thought process? How much of the blood and sweat and tears and toil and trouble and thinking and scratching of the forehead went into this kind of a thing? How long did it take from genesis of the idea to the announcement?
Probably 2 years. We were trying to make sure our market um, would be a good one for it. And then we kind of decided about 4 or 5 months ago, and then we basically just went all full steam ahead. So we had thoughts before, but COVID kind of slowed those thoughts down for a while, waiting for things to recover. But other than that, we're ready now.
For those that don't know what soccer is to the fabric of East Tennessee and how it has grown over the time that you've been a very successful coach there in the high school ranks and the club ranks and things like that. For those that don't know the footprint, break it down for folks.
Well, Knoxville is a great college town, first off, with University of Tennessee here. So there's a ton of sports fans here. And recently, their women's team has had a lot of success, and it's kind of breeded even more enthusiasm in the community. We have a very large soccer population of adults, very large adult league here, multiple adult leagues here for recreational purposes, and we have a big youth club here that's been here about 20 years, and so it's definitely here. We're also embedded right in between about 4 or 5 colleges that compete at all different levels. So East Tennessee is a nice mid-sized area to live with lots of soccer being played at lots of different levels.
How has it grown over the last, say, 5 years to where you can't turn in the any market really in the southeastern United States, and there's been growth of the sport, and I mean it's been from an MLS perspective, you're right there in the triangle of Nashville and Charlotte and Atlanta. I mean, you're right there on one of the axes. How has it grown in the
Yeah,
last, say, half a dozen years?
I'd say it's probably quadrupled. The whole the size of the membership, so whether it's a youth club or adult club, um, it's just exponential. There's even a college close to us that, for the first time in their history, has their which is very as well. So it's really united, but a good thing. Community also became part of it. It's just now we have parents that are really bought in, and not just a kid. So it's been great for sure.
When it came to the NPSL, why choose that league? I know that there are a lot of leagues out there these days. Why choose the NPSL over all the others?
Been around 20 plus years, and it has we have a lot of former players that from the youth side of our business model that have played it over the years and always had a good experience. Um, and we just wanted to go with something that we felt was a nice proven model and has some sustainability. And it was a perfect fit for us.
When it comes to the to-do list, I know a lot of folks will sit there and say, well, yeah, the summer is the summer and May will be here, but it's only 4 months away. It's like, yeah, there's plenty of time when there really isn't. I mean, the announcement came online back on the 10th. So, I mean, you've had all of the work that's led up to this moment. What I like to ask folks when we do these interviews involving the NPSL is that I know that there's a to-do list somewhere. And I mean, it could be on your phone where you pull out a stylus, you sit there and you write an idea down, you jam the stylus back in your phone, then you put the phone back away. It could be on a legal pad. You could be 4 or 5 legal pads deep in various parts of the house. Could be on a one of those refrigerator magnet schedule, memo boards with the dry erase marker that you go downstairs 2 o'clock in the morning. Oh, I'm getting water. Oh, I've got an idea. I write it down. Or as I'm staring at you in your office, it could be one of those big 6x8 erase boards that's got like 9,000 ideas on it. Where is your to-do list? And what do you think the next thing that you can cross off that to-do list is as you get ready for something that's only going to be 4 months from now?
Well, to-do list is on a Google Doc, and so we all can get to it at 24/7 because I look at the times that a lot of us are working on it, and it seems like it's all times of the day. So it's definitely become a 24/7 process. So that helps us with that. And we've been crossing a lot of things off. We just had our first tryout Saturday, and it was crazy. We had 151 guys show up, and which is a lot of people. And so we're sifting through that, forming the roster, and definitely gonna have to have an additional tryout to continue to weed that down and get the quality of the team to where we want it. Um, but so that's the one we're trying to click off right now, is that roster. And that's the one that we want to try to identify so the community can start to identify the team with its players and coaches. So
What was it like to see 151 people show up?
uh, it was almost like a rock concert. It felt like it was just lined up. It kept growing and growing, and we knew we were going to have about 80, but there was that many walk-ups, and so it was good. A lot of people, like we were talking about earlier, the sport's really grown, and a lot of people were just very excited to be part of it, and they were coming from everywhere.
When it comes to the organization on the whole, I know that you're looking for a specific kind of person. And then with those trialists, I know that you're looking for a specific kind of person and a specific kind of player. When it comes to identifying who that is so they can represent 865 Alliance the way that you want them to, what kind of individuals are you looking for both on and off the pitch?
Well, we're definitely looking for a blue collar mentality. This whole area is very blue collar, very hardworking area. People in this area seem to really appreciate that as a fan, and so we're looking for the kids that will, young men that will work hard and also be good people. We have a different model. We have a youth component to it. There's going to be lots of kids in the stands, and we want that to be an extension of our club. We don't want players that might not be that fit that model, because we know there's going to be lots of kids in the stands. So that's what we're looking for. Hardworking, obviously, we need to be a good player and also a good role model. So.
Is one of the elements also the idea that that youth component can be a part of the growth and have it be a part of almost like the stepping stones at 865, where it's like, okay, you're watching the players of today, we want you to be one of the players of tomorrow. How does that integrate as a part of this process?
That is a big part of it. For us, we will have a lot of former players on the team that have graduated out over the years that are still playing in college, or trying to find their next professional gig somewhere. So that will be a part of it. So when our our youth players and parents come to watch this should be the men's team in the area that they aspire to be a part of at some point in time.
When you think about the landscape, I mean, you mentioned colleges, you've mentioned how you pretty much can turn around here in the footprint and you see a lot of different teams. Um, has there been any thought about the League One franchise and how rising tide can lift all boats in a town like Knoxville and there in East Tennessee, where uh, yes, you're different leagues, but there's different things in play here, and we both can represent things pretty well. What's the feedback now that there's this second franchise there in the Knoxville area?
Yeah, we basically when the two teams communicate, they basically have their lane. We have our lane, and we stay in our lanes, and we're acquaintances, and they are a true professional model, and we are a situation we feel that we are helping younger players that are early 20s, 19ish, something like that, coming and going from college. So we think it's just different. Their season's way longer. Ours is, you know, um, is all kind of crammed into couple months, and so I think there's definitely room for that, and we just both just kind of stay in our own lane. So.
You have been a part of this growth, whether it's Tennessee Wesleyan and Andrew, yourself, and you see how things continue to grow and evolve. This is the crystal ball question.
Mhm.
As and we can take this in as many different directions of what you're building there as possible. How would you like to see 865 grow in the NPSL over the first couple of years, over the first 5 years or so? What's the game plan for building 865 Alliance as a part of A, what you've built so far, and B, what you'd like to continue to build?
Well, we want to be one of the premier teams in the league. We are getting tremendous support from a lot of the local colleges that are around us, and some that are not so local that are continuously looking for ways to help their players get better. And we're kind of in a great situation because we have lots of players that play here, and they might just have just graduated from University of Tennessee and used to be a high level player. Now they're working on grad work. So we have a what we feel we're trying to do is we're trying to promote the homegrown player in this region. And so when people come to play to watch, they're watching people that actually live here, who did live here, who grew up here, and we witnessed a lot of very good players. And we think we can be a very competitive team in this league even early on. And but we would always like to try to go as far as we can. Everybody would like to, we have those actions, and we have the support team. We think that can make that happen.
And you're going to be in a you're in a conference area as a part of the footprint where you're dealing with a lot of tough teams. It's App FC, it's North Alabama, it's Apotheos. You have all the teams in Georgia, Georgia Revs. When you look at the teams
Mhm.
that are here that are a part of the Southeastern Conference of the NPSL, when you look at the quality of competition that's probably going to be knocking on your door, what do you see?
It's a big challenge every weekend. I mean, and the ironic thing is through our youth model, we've seen a lot of these players and coaches every years as well. So it's perfect. I mean, we're a part of the Southeast. We were excited about being competing in the Southeast, and travel's extremely reasonable for all of us in that conference. So I think it's a nice setup.
And that was, one of the things that, in catching up with everybody in the Southeast, I mean, it's something where you can get instant rivalries added in because you're right there. And like we were talking about you being one of the axes when it comes to Major League Soccer, you're right there as a part of the conversation when it comes to being right there with App. You're a couple hours away from there. You're a couple hours away from all of the Georgia coefficients. So it looks like there's going to be some rivalries that can be built into this whole thing too.
I mean, when you have games this close, a question for your fans to travel with you, which is kind of cool. And so we were actually very excited. The whole location of where we are in the middle of the conference, we were very excited. We're like, well, this is perfect.
When it came to phone calls, whether it's players or fans, I guess we can take it twofold. What's the wildest text or phone call that you've gotten from a player furthest away? Is somebody calling you from like Antarctica or something? What's it been like when players reach out to you? What's that been like?
It's been funny. We as soon as we posted on social media, I'd say within 15 seconds, people from Costa Rica started reaching out to us. So it was, yeah, so it was great. And they're very serious about coming here. So it was funny.
Then from a
Wasn't really expecting that.
Yeah, I mean, and then from a fan perspective, what's it been like? Now, do the fans have your cell too, where they can text you, or what's the fan response been like getting ready for this? We're 865.
It's been tremendous. We've been on several TV shows and radio shows, and so We've had all kinds of people just saying this is great. We're excited. They love the vision of us trying to promote like homegrown people from this area. They love that. They think that's like something they're excited about, and so we really have had a ton of outpouring of support.
All right, time to cut the promo for me. For those that want to keep an eye with what's going on up there at 865 Alliance, how do they do it?
You can follow us at 865alliance.com, and that will link into all of our social media, which is also 865 Alliance.
Jon Schneider, president of 865 Alliance, one of the new franchises in the NPSL as we get ready for the 2023 season, which will be here before we know it. Coach, thanks for hanging out with us here for a Soccer Down Here 1v1. We'll be keeping an eye on things up there in East Tennessee with 865, and we'll catch up with you soon.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate you having me on.